Can't believe I actually have to call them. Come on, please pick up, please pick up, please pick up.
Lucasfilm Games, what do you want?
Yes, I'd like to place an order, please.
Alright, what do you have?
One order of Star Wars Battlefront 3, and a side order of a couple years of support.
Alright, one Destiny 2 DLC and some Fortnite content. Will you have anything else?
Wait, what the What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Mad love for tuning into this one. If you're new, my name is Star. I built this entire channel being the undefeated, undisputed Battlefront 2 champion of the world.
I'm still undefeated, exactly as I had predicted for you guys.
And I am back like a vertebrae to discuss the topic of the day. Lucasfilm Games just unveiled this new trailer for a Destiny 2 expansion of all things called Renegades, which is a Star Wars-inspired update releasing at the end of this year. Awesome for the Destiny players, but as somebody who doesn't play that game, I have thoughts. I thought it was bad enough when Star Wars collaborated with Fortnite in a bid to stay relevant, but I'm starting to see a pattern here. How did we get to the point where Star Wars has become a collaboration IP? The way I see it, this franchise is big enough to stand on its own two legs, at least it used to be. And I gotta be honest, a collaboration with Destiny 2 of all things was definitely not on today's bingo card. It's just so weird sitting here as a Star Wars video game YouTuber and understanding that the best and most popular Star Wars game right now isn't even a Star Wars game. It's Fortnite. I swear to God, the next step is about to be Darth Vader kicking it with Seth Rogen in Warzone. God, no, I shouldn't give them any ideas. No, wait. But hey, shout out to Lucasfilm for actually coming up with some original content. We've got that new strategy game on the way, Zero Company, which I think actually looks really good. The art style reminds me of that older mobile game, Force Arena, and it's being published by the same company who put out the Jedi series, so I've actually got a lot of hopes for this one. And it's absolutely a step in the right direction. I've been saying for a while now that the Star Wars universe inherently has a lot of room for a bunch of different genres and different types of games. I mean, this is the same universe where we have pod racing. Tell me why we don't have a modern pod racing game where you can race to earn money to get new parts, swap out better parts to make your pod faster, get a new paint job, unlock different racers. We could have a fighting game in the style of Mortal Kombat or the UFC series. They could reboot that old Terras Kasi game from the late 90s, or just do what Soul Calibur 4 did with the inclusion of Yoda, Darth Vader, and Starkiller, some of the best cameos in that entire franchise. There is so much room for a variety of Star Wars games, but for whatever reason, all of the new ones that tend to come out, they're either action-adventure RPGs or some variation of a shooter. That's one of the reasons I'm actually happy about Zero Company. That's a fresh and original idea. Real-time strategy hasn't been done since Empire at War, and it's still a very relevant genre that fits perfectly in Star Wars. But then I see this Destiny 2 announcement. I see the collaboration with Fortnite. And I can't help but think to myself, why would you do this instead of giving the players what they're actually asking for? The third Battlefront. I have never seen a more egregious example of demand but no supply. It's a rhetorical question, I know the answer. It's a hell of a lot easier and cheaper to just give another company your blessing to use your assets instead of building something new from the ground up. We all know how developers and publishers talk about the cost of video game development these days and how it's so astronomically high that sometimes it just doesn't feel worth it, and I can almost guarantee you this is why they won't touch a Battlefront 3. And EA basically admitted it when they rejected DICE's pitch for a Battlefront 3. They said that they didn't want to pay the licensing cost associated with it. Cost aside, on a personal note, I think they're also a little bit intimidated to even try Battlefront 3. Players have a certain expectation around the Battlefront franchise, especially after those first two that we got from EA. These expectations include, but are not limited to, multiple eras in the Star Wars lore, prequel, original trilogy, sequels. It's expected to have all the heroes, all the vehicles and weapons and trooper classes. Don't forget the wide variety of game modes. We're talking large-scale galactic assault, we're talking space battles, designated hero modes, small-scale infiltration-style modes, the hunt modes where you can hunt the indigenous species on the different planets. This prospect of many different modes is especially daunting because what the developers essentially have to do is fit a bunch of different smaller games into one big game. It's honestly a miracle that they pulled it off with Battlefront 2. When you lay it out like that, it really puts into perspective just how much work actually goes into a project like this. And even though I would say the two Battlefronts all in all were a success, they had their fair share of criticism. Battlefront 2015 suffered from a lack of content, which was supplemented with the season pass. At that point, you were basically paying full price for a second game on top of the base game. Not the best look. The sequel definitely did not suffer from a lack of content. Its problems were more about the loot box system that was tied to progression, and of course the controversy surrounding paywalled heroes at launch. While there was a great game underneath it all, the conversation surrounding the release of Battlefront 2 did it no favors, and it was pretty much an instant nail in the coffin. Despite that, Battlefront 2 still had a very loyal fan base, and, speaking from experience, my entire channel was dedicated to that game for many years. Star Wars games are just in a really weird spot right now because we have some upcoming titles on the slate. We've got Zero Company, we've got the KOTOR remake, which is allegedly still happening. Star Wars Eclipse is somewhere in the distant future, and then there's also Amy Hennig's game from Skydance New Media, which we know nothing about other than it is in development. We had some canceled titles, like the Mandalorian first-person shooter that was supposed to come out of Respawn. I was hyped on that one, man. You're telling me I got to play as a Mandalorian in Star Wars? Let's go! And then, of course, they pulled the plug on it because it was just too cool to actually exist. And then the ones that actually end up seeing the light of day don't really do all that well. I mean, look at the likes of Star Wars Outlaws, which was really hyped up at launch and then kind of fell flat on its face after the fact. That same tried and tired Ubisoft open world formula just didn't work. It lacked that wow factor that I think the Star Wars fans were really looking for, and it ended up being a very mid and generic experience. Then we have Star Wars Hunters, which was supposed to be the newest multiplayer offering, and that barely lasted 6 months. To be fair, the marketing around that was virtually non-existent. It was only available on two platforms which weren't very highly populated, might I add. And it lacked any kind of draw or appeal to the casual Star Wars fan. We have a shining example of what that game could have been with Marvel Rivals. They're basically the exact same game. One's just with a coat of Marvel paint and the other's with a coat of Star Wars paint, but the difference in success is clear. It just really sucks because if you look at it from Lucasfilm's perspective, they're noticing all of their original projects not doing too well. Outlaws fell on its face, Hunters was a flop after 6 months, video games getting canceled left and right, and the fans losing their patience with projects that are set way, way, way into the future. When they compare that with the obvious success they're having with the Fortnite collaboration, for example, it is so obvious why they would pick one over the other. The collaboration route is the path of least resistance that is getting them the most turnaround, actually. I suppose on one hand it's good because it still keeps Star Wars relevant within the cultural conversation. The brand definitely isn't as popular as it used to be, but if they can keep going down this route and keep finding success with these collaborations, it might justify more original projects in the future, which at this point is kind of my hope. We still have a lot of projects to look forward to. Like I listed off, we've got the KOTOR remake, Zero Company, I'm very excited for that one, Amy Hennig's game especially, even though we know nothing about it. I think that one's going to be really good. And maybe Eclipse, if we ever see that one. But no, Battlefront 3, why? Yeah, it's heartbreaking. But anyway, guys, I saw this trailer earlier today, and I just kind of wanted to put this little rant video together. This feels very unstructured and unorganized. This was all off the cuff, so if it feels random and sporadic, that's why. But that's all I got for this one, guys. Thank you for checking out the video and hanging out with me. What are your guys' thoughts on this new Destiny 2 collaboration? Let me know in the comments. Be sure to give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, and consider subscribing if you're new. But that's all from me. This has been Star. Keep shining, baby.